Okay, fantastic. So, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Welcome to our first delivery of the Unleash Your Superpowers workshop, and we're very excited to be looking forward to delivering this content, and for the very first time to yourselves. Just a little bit about the Academy, Wise Life Academy, before I hand over to our instructors as well. This workshop, as you can see, is all about discovering your own superpowers, and it's a very actually practical session where we try to answer the question, what is uniquely special about you? And I know some of us might be uncomfortable answering that question, but this is what we're going to be looking at. And this is very important to us in Wise Life Academy, because our mission, as you can see, is to translate the light of divine and human wisdom into practical, meaningful, and applicable trainings. And this is, you'll also see why we have a smaller cohort and training session, because we really want to focus on the impact. And why we're doing this is to expand the human potential and inspire radical personal growth and help you solve life's everyday challenges. So as sometimes is said, that we are fundamentally spiritual beings having a physical experience. And part of physical experience is that we have careers, we have ways of earning a living. And this is very much something that occupies our time and our mind. So we really wanted to design a training to help you accelerate and develop. And just to share a little bit more about why we designed this course, I'm just going to hand over to Majid, who will be telling us a little bit more about why he is involved and got involved in designing and delivering this workshop.
Thank you, Tassif. Can I just, because I'm one of those people that technology tends to fail me, and before I fail technology, can I just get a round of hands just to demonstrate that you can all hear me? Okay, brilliant. So that's fine. As Tassif said, my name is Majid Hussain. I'm one of the founding members of Wise Life and part of the executive team. Now, the self-discovery is actually quite interesting, and especially the slide that Tassif had on regarding those type of feelings that individuals have when you're in when you're in work or whatever it might be, i.e. feeling unfulfilled, empty. And for me, this is quite striking. So by way of background, I'm currently a partner at a professional services firm, one of the largest in the UK. I started out my career at KPMG and then went on to some of the other larger firms in the city. And it's not untypical for people, and myself included, that as you're going through the corporate field, you find yourself asking certain questions. Am I doing the right thing? Is this, have I sold my soul to the city? Am I feeling a level of fulfillment, etc.? And these questions are actually more pertinent for those individuals that have a Islamic ethos. And I find that those questions were prepondering or coming up more and more, both in my time in the city and also with colleagues or other Muslims that I met. There was is there something more to this, or is it something bigger? And as I went on my journey of self-discovery, and this is one of the unique points around Wise Life and what we've sought to do, is that I currently am, as I said, a partner in the firm. So I'm currently still working in the city. And we and the other instructors that came together, we devised this course by people that are doing the doing, as opposed to people that have kind of done the bit in the city and then left and said, now let's teach. Actually, we thought, what is it that motivates us? What is it that has helped us in our career? And what can we do to impart something to you and to others that face those same challenges that we have? And so for me, I'm always going to so that's those feelings that I had. And then if I fast forward to where I am now, I am currently remaining working in the city with a very fulfilling career that gives me not just financial freedom and economic sustenance, but there's more fulfillment, both on a very personal and social level. And that came about through a very personal journey, but not one that is going to be uncommon to all of you. And what this course will seek to do is actually unlock that, is to unlock your potential, unlock the natural talents and strengths and that natural purpose that every human being has. And how can you make that fit with your career, so that not only can you accelerate in your career, but find that fulfillment from a very personal and social perspective as well. So that I'm going to just end on that. And if I get an opportunity to speak again, I will. You'll see myself and one of the other instructors more so in week 2. But in week 1, you're given to the capable hands of Tassif and Abdul Basit. Tassif, if I pass over to Haroon, I think this is you.
So hi guys, my name is Haroon Ahmed, and I'll be one of your co-instructors or co-teachers on this course, alongside the very adept Abdul Basit, Majid Hussain, and Tassif. Just a little bit about myself as well, and kind of what drove me to working with these talented individuals to come up with this course that we've called Unleash Your Superpowers. And I think the course really resonates with all of us as instructors. And I think all of us have felt in our own personal journeys a calling for something more meaningful within our work, and then how to use that work to serve a greater mission in our life, and in turn allow us to discover and really unlock our talents and abilities. So I'll start with kind of a story. I was the age of 18, going into university. I studied physics in London, and I then eventually went on to working in the city, and I started my career in oil and gas, working within the finance profession. And interestingly, when I started working in finance, I actually picked that career and profession not because I particularly enjoyed it or I thought I'd enjoy it. Well, at the time I thought I might, but actually I did it because I wanted others to think that what I was doing was really good. And back then, finance was really well paying. So I thought, you know what, others will respect this profession as opposed to maybe something more, creative that maybe others don't. So I kind of went in it for the wrong reasons. I went in it because I thought what others think and the respect that I might get for others. What I learned in the process of that first job that I did at Shell, I hated it. I didn't feel like I fit the career. I didn't feel like I was accelerating. I got average performance reviews, and I didn't really feel happy at work. I felt like the things that I was doing outside of work really didn't connect with what I was doing inside of work. So I felt like I was living 2 lives, and that obviously left me coming to work and not really coming into work, with any positive feeling or thinking or, intention. And that's really important, considering work for many of us will take a large portion of our lives, considering, the 9 to 5, we'd be lucky for 9 to 5 at the moment. Now it's going to 9 to 6. And some people will even work longer hours. So, I was in this space where, I felt really disconnected in that sense. On top of that, I grew up with a learning difficulty called dyspraxia and dyslexia. Some of you may have heard of it, some of you may have not, but it's a learning disability, and it means that I process information very differently. So on top of not having an unfulfilling career, it made me question myself about whether I actually had any ability or talents, because fine, I got into this job, but I wasn't performing very great, and that in turn made me feel really underconfident about myself. So I think I went through a journey, and that journey consisted of actually me doing something outside of work. I volunteered for different organizations. In fact, one of those organizations is the very organization we're teaching in, which is Wildlife Academy. I started many, many years ago. And, just starting with, building the website, doing different tasks, designing. And actually, I realized that outside of my work, I found out actually this is what I enjoy. But the question is, and how do I make that my career, given that I'd already made the decision to be in finance? And God willing, and the blessings of God, I was able to have that facilitated for me with guidance, mentors around me, and really people there to advise me every step of the way. So you could say I went through a process of self-discovery, so that currently today, I'm currently working within the big tech sector. recently left Google and I've joined Facebook as a senior product strategist, leading a team of 20, looking at some of the most pressing issues across the company. Now, that didn't happen overnight, but that happened over a process of firstly realizing what I did and didn't align with, and two, understanding what I valued in life and what I did not value in life. And once I was clear with that, then the direction of travel was very clear. And that is then around how do you get to your destination? And that is what we're going to be also covering across the next 2 sessions, which is looking to explore what our values are, who we are as people, what unique talents and abilities do we have? Because, the wise people say that, if a fish is to measure its ability on climbing trees, then it'll forever think it is disabled, meaning that it doesn't have ability. But the fish was born to swim. So once you realize what you're designed for, given that we're all different, then you're able to accelerate and you'll be your best version of yourself. And I think that's what's been really, really powerful for me. And this is why I think all of us have been really drawn to our course, because we've all gone through some process. So without further ado, I will pass you over to our next co-instructor, the adept, Abdul Basit.
Yes, Brother Harun, thank you very much. To introduce myself, I am Abdul Basit, and I'm based out of the Middle East, so I'm not in the UK or somewhere in Europe. By background, I am a chartered accountant, and I work for Deloitte in the Middle East for the past 14 years. I worked my way up. I started as a manager, and now I am a partner in the Middle East firm. There's a lot of travels that I do, mainly between United Arab Emirates, the famous Dubai, and Saudi Arabia. As I speak right now, I am in Saudi Arabia, in the city of Jeddah. So for those of you who know Jeddah, this is very close to Makkah al-Mukarramah. It's less than 1 hour of drive. Now, I started actually, just to give you some background into my journey. I studied in the Netherlands. I became a chartered accountant. I worked for a number of organizations as a finance manager. I worked for a number of companies, also in the technology. But ultimately, I started my own small consulting firm. So I think for 7 years in the Netherlands, I had my own interim consulting firm. And I had projects from 6 months to a year or two, etc. And initially, when I was working for an employer, I thought, okay, this is great. I can learn a lot, but this wasn't something I felt I was meant to do. And I felt I need to do something more beyond what I do in the world of finance. And I wanted to explore more and more, and that's what really kept me exciting. So I started my own business that went very well. But finally, I thought, I need some international exposure as well. So I made my way into Dubai, and 14 years back, I was able to get a job within Deloitte. And for those of you who don't know Deloitte is one of the world's leading audit consulting and tax firms. So starting as a manager, working my way up, and today as a partner leading the Middle East practice. I am responsible for 150 people, and this is still growing. And so, quite a big of responsibility. Now, in my role, I'm responsible for growing the business, but I realized that in order to grow the business, it's important for me to also grow the people. So I'm also responsible, to look into people and leadership programs. And so I organized a number of sessions throughout the years, and I talked to a number of people, around what is your development, how is that going, and I organized sessions with people just to openly discuss, what are the common bottlenecks and how can we improve ourselves and how can we maximize our performance. And it is that excitement that actually, connected me also with Vice Life Academy. And that's why, I am here with you to help you to talk about, self-discovery, your personal values and so on. And so, I think it's important that the message that I'm trying to give here is that, yes, you will start with something. You might start with something that is not to your heart, something that you might be forced into. If I can speak for myself, my profession was actually chosen by my parents. They wanted me to be an accountant, and that's what I went into. But alhamdulillah, that is fine. But I molded and folded that into something that fits the way I am, the way I want to work, etc. And alhamdulillah, it has been a very nice journey. So regardless of how your journey starts, you need to decide how you want to lead that journey and what is your outcome. And basically, this is the essence of the course that we have designed for you, over a number of modules to go into, what is very dear to you, what is very important to you, and then work up from there, and then decide your goals for your careers, but also goals for a fulfilled life. With that being said, I think we can move on to the next.
Yes, thank you, Abdul Basit. So Tasif here, and I think it's been wonderful working with Majid, Abdul Basit, and Haroon to develop this course. And as you can see, we have a very diverse background with experience in some of the largest companies from a corporate sector. But one thing that I also wanted to emphasize as a HR professional is that what we're trying to focus on is a formula that works for everyone. So maybe some of you might not be interested in a corporate career, or even in terms of your own future, you might not see yourself in the corporate sector. However, we're trying to get the formula from our experiences and the wisdom found in different traditions to help you find what works for you. And that's what, so I started my career in doing a HR graduate scheme, and I kind of have an end-to-end experience of, let's say, the graduates, so managing graduate programs, hiring, recruitment, all the way to development and, advising leadership, and also firing. So okay, I can understand the whole experience and cycle that you might be going through as an employee. And I really wanted to reflect that into the course. So as you can see, we have a very varied background. I had some stints in the private sector as well as the public sector. So sorry, as well as the private sector. And I think together, the four instructors bring a nice balance to the course. We may not be diverse in terms of our black and white pictures, but we're definitely diverse in terms of our collective backgrounds, our approach to life, the way we even, maybe you would experience the way we speak and teach it will also be varied. So very much looking forward to it. And as mentioned, the idea is not to give you a fixed solution. For example, nowadays, people like yourselves and myself are very much being bombarded with adverts of leave your 9 to 5. You can't be happy in your job. Set up your own Amazon business, set up your own cryptocurrency trading business. And so this is not the solution. The solution is what works for you. And to know that, you need to know yourself. And this is what we're trying to really convey. So to help us get an understanding of what you can expect from us, I'm just going to hand back to Brother Abdul Basit, who will take us through the overview of the course and also what's expected of yourselves as participants. So back to you.
Yes, thank you, Brother Tasif. So I think, the other instructors and myself have in some way already mentioned, the way we are going to do this course and what you could expect. But just in a nutshell, the whole idea is to uncover your hidden superpowers, because we believe that everybody has superpowers. We have, as Brother Majid says, unlock your potential. That's basically really the idea. Unlock your potential. I can't see the slide anymore, but that's okay. Yeah, okay. So really unlock your potential, and we will go through a series of 3 modules, and hopefully that can help you to to find your superpowers. But also, how can I apply my superpowers, to my career? And I would say not just your career, but how can you also apply that in your personal life, in your personal development? Now, the way we want to do that is we want to go through, personal values. And you may be thinking, what are personal values? But this is the core of us as a person, as a human being. We need to understand our personal values because these are the real drivers behind whatever we do in life. So the idea is to be purpose driven, and something that is meaningful and gives direction in life. Ultimately, coming back to the superpowers, basically your strength is how can I understand my strengths and how can I leverage them in order to improve my performance. So that's in a nutshell, let's say what we want to achieve through this course. And I think that's something you should keep in mind. Now, how have we structured the course itself? So, so it is across 3 modules. The first module, which is this module, will go into, understanding values and how they influence your career and your personal life. But also we'll talk about, the motivational drivers. And Brother Tasi will really elaborate on, what are the career anchors? What are the motives for you to pick up a career or to move into higher into the career ladder? Module 2, it's all about, strength, your superpowers. How can I identify my strengths, right? And how can I leverage on them, to achieve the desired results? Now, module 3 is very interesting. So in module 1 and 2, we talk a lot about topics and it's interactive and so on. But in module 3, it's going to be very practical. It's going to be a practical workshop where we will help you as instructors, very much one-on-one, to design your very own personal plan. In this personal plan, you will really identify for yourself your personal values, your career anchors, your strengths, your superpowers, but also, and that's always important, is what are the areas that I need to improve. We can be very good in this and that, but there are certain areas that we need to improve in order to develop ourselves. So ultimately, you end up defining your development goals. And if you achieve those goals, you take yourself to the next level. Next slide. Now, it's very important. And I think that is almost, I would say common sense. This is a course, it's an investment from our side, but also an investment from your side, right? So we need to make sure, and actually you need to make sure that the right mindset is being applied here. So you need to come, to all the 3 modules. You need to make sure that you have the right intention. Your intention should be, how can I improve myself? How can I accelerate myself, both in life, but also in my career? If you sit with that mindset, then the way you go into this course, it will benefit you as well. In terms of commitment, very simple. We have 3 modules and we are hopeful that you will attend all of them, but also, do participate, do make it an interactive session, and Brother Tasi will, go into, into helping you, uncovering your personal values. And that's a very activity-based exercise. So we are then, we hope that you're committed to also participate in the fullest. Next. So just to anchor back, the message, this is a practical course, and we are bringing in our collective expertise to help you in your journey, in your career, as well as your personal development. And we have tried to design this in such a way that it meets your specific needs. So the workbook, that we will share with you, the personal development plan, everything that you will do, you need to be with the mindset that this is going to be something specific for me. Again, the right mindset, and make sure you're committed to really go till the end in this course. Next. Okay, now to start, the first topic, the question that is in front of us, and I'm going to read this out, but ask yourself the question, what is my most powerful driver as a human being, right? What is my most powerful driver as a human being? Now, you might be thinking, hey, what is the question about? Don't worry about that. I think what you need to, identify is the first thing that comes in. So whatever answer you get from your feelings, that is something you need to write down. So my request to all of you is answer this question by responding on the chat function. If you could please. Okay, someone is asking, I'm a consultant and wants to have a chat. That's perfectly fine. We can have a separate chat, that should be okay. But going back to my question, can I ask the audience, the participants, please, can you use the chat function to write down what you believe is the most powerful driver as a human being? Yeah, mashallah. Some feedback is coming in. Mashallah, meaningful life, having a purpose, being a provider for spouse and parents, purpose, I guess, purpose in life, in pursuit of happiness. Yes, that's a nice one. That's a pleasure. Brother Harun is seeking pleasure, mashallah. Contribution to humanity, a nice one. Leading a purposeful life while obeying Allah's commands, mashallah. Pain, yeah, pain can be a powerful driver of change, I agree. Giving back to others, balance in life, avoiding bad things. Love, yes. Yes. Okay, very good. Look, these are all very good examples of what can drive our behavior, our lives as human beings. And probably if you go into the theory, they will give you a list of 100 values that drive human behavior. Now, if we take them all together, we call them personal values, right? And if you look into what personal, if you want to define that in some or other way, personal values is something worth, right? A quality that you have, a quality that is very desirable. And they, values are important because they help you to grow, and they create the future that you want to experience. In a way, they guide our behavior, our belief system, our motivation, and essentially, your personal values are part of our personalities. And like Brother Maji mentioned, love, that is then part of your personality. You really love, you like this, and so on. And you want to obey, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's part of your personality. There is spirituality in you. And these are really personal values that we need to understand. So they actually influence our, in a way, our decisions and actions. But also, look, as you can see, people came up with a diverse number of values. And so it means that it differs from person to person. However, there will be a number of common values. And, the simple way, to identify your values is to just reflect on your personality and your behavior. And essentially, values, are expressed through actions and words and behavior. Now, this was a bit of theory, I guess, and a bit of exercise. Now, what we want to do is we will do a very practical exercise with you. Brother Tasi will take over from here, and he will help you to really understand, what are personal values, and let's define a number of them, but ultimately go from a list of personal values to your very core values. And that would be a very interesting exercise. Brother Tasif, can I hand over to you?
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to it. I think it's, as mentioned, all of us on the call should be really excited at the opportunity that you have. Really, I mean, I've benefited greatly from the instructors on this call. And as mentioned, the third module is all about coaching and getting you to whatever. So you could be someone who maybe is trying to get back into work, or could be someone who's trying to move out of a particular career or position that you're in. But it doesn't matter. What matters is that we're here to help you clarify what you want to do. So first and foremost, we're going to do a little bit of an activity where we're going to need both the workbook and the Jamboard. So can I'm just sharing screen. So can I check you all have access to a copy of the course workbook? This was emailed to you as a PDF and a Word document earlier today. I also have just provided a link in the chat box, which is a non-editable version. So you're going to have to copy it and then you can use it. So can I get a hands up from everyone? So I can see Rabia has mentioned she's got the workbook. Fantastic. Have all of you got the workbook? Just a thumbs up. And a few of you are joining just to see. So the chipmunk, just to let you know, you won't be able to edit this one. You need to click File and then Make Copy, and then you'll be able to edit it. So just give me a thumbs up so that I know that you have a copy. So I'm waiting. Let me see. Zahra, Tasin, Samira, Omeir, just let me know. Hajira, let me know if you can access. Thank you, Ali, for the thumbs up. And Anisa as well. I think we're just going to wait until I get confirmation you can all access it. It's very hard to hide in a class of 10 people, guys. It's going to be very, very difficult to hide. So I'm just going to wait until I get the thumbs up. So Anisa, thank you for the thumbs up. Tasin, thank you for the thumbs up. Perfect. Omer, thank you for the confirmation. So how this is going to work is you all have now access to this workbook, which is your personal, this is what you need to make your own copy. So this is just for you and is like your guide and your companion in this journey. You also have received a link to the Google Classroom, which I will talk about later, which also has another copy. So if you want to access it later, you can get a fresh copy from there. But we're going to be looking at this first activity, which is finding your personal values. I'm going to explain the activity in a second. And before I do that, I just want to make sure you also have access to the Jamboard. So can everyone see the screen with instructions for the Jamboard? I'll take that as a yes. So now we're going to do the same activity. So you all received a email and also a kind of invitation to edit the Jamboard. And this was with the specific email that you registered on Eventbrite with. If you have issues accessing it, let me know now, and then I can unlock that for you. I can see quite a few of you here. So there's Kiwi, Alisa, Samira is on here, Anis is here, and there's a camel as well. Mashallah, there's all types of Wolverine, welcome. So can you just get it again, just a thumbs up that you can access the Jamboard. I think most of you, about 60% are already on there. Omer, thank you for joining. Perfect. All right, fantastic. So I'm going to go into the explanation of the activity, and I'm confident you all have access to what you need. So how this will work is you will now, this course is really much about self-reflection, and to reflect, sometimes you need to talk and discuss, and sometimes you need to write things down. So we're going to offer you both opportunities because people learn differently. So for this activity, you'll be broken up into smaller breakout rooms, and at least one of us will be with you in the breakout rooms. So if you're stuck, you can ask a question, we can discuss things further. So what will happen is that you will reflect on different aspects of your life, and there are prompt questions which have been pre-designed to help you go through them. And then once you've gone through those questions, your personal values or kind of will become clearer to you if you already don't know them. So these are the steps. So the step 1, step 2, step 3, and you answer those questions and you write things down. And then we've given you in the this workbook many examples of values. So, for example, some of you have mentioned helping society, different types of values of maybe loyalty, justice, so on and so forth. So there are many different types of values. Faith could be one. So on. There's very many values, but you need to pick only 10. Your top 10 values. So that's the activity. And then because you're going to be in the breakout rooms, I will give you a timed time box to do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. And then we will start to take away some of these values one by one until you reach the top 3 personal values. So what will happen is I will now add you into the breakout rooms. You first need to work through the workbook, quietly if you want, or if you want to discuss, ask questions, you can do that as well. And then one more instruction here in the Jamboard, we've given you, so this is in alphabetical order. You have your own board. So for example, this is Ali Isa. Fortunately, there's no one, we don't have anyone that has the same name. So if you find your name in any of the boards, that's yours. For example, Hajira here, if you want to write your 10 values, we're asking that you use the sticky note. So it could be one is, for example, loyalty, and you write that out. You can choose different colors if you want, blue, pink, whatever. Let's say another one is family. That's an important value, and contributing to family. So then we after going through the step 1 to 4, you now need to pick 10 different values, and this is when you will switch to the Jamboard, and there'll be an instructor in your breakout room, so don't worry if you get stuck. And then you start to write out some of these values, and then once everyone has written 10 values, I will then bring you back into the main session, and then we'll begin to kind of sift them out and cut out the ones that are maybe less important to you. It's a very interesting activity, and one thing I'll invite you to do is, as you are thinking and writing, observe your inner feelings and inner thoughts as well. And that's where the most change and the most transformation happens, when you are trying to see, okay, as I'm writing this, as I'm thinking this, what is happening inside, how am I feeling? So this is very important as well, just to bear in mind. Before I do the breakout, any questions? Thumbs up if everything was clear. So 2 people are clear. And that means that everyone else, 3 people are clear. 4. Okay, thank you, Ali. Thank you, Anissa. Harun is clear, so that's good. The instructor, at least one of the instructors, is clear. So what will happen now is you'll be put into the breakout rooms where you have to go through step 1, 2, and 3. So just as an example, step 1 is identify the times you were happiest. Find an example from both your career and personal life. This will ensure some balance in your answers. What were you doing? Were you so for example, like I'm an introvert, so I wouldn't like to discuss this in my breakout room. So I might just crack on and write things out. And then if I'm stuck, I might say, oh, Majid, can you help me? I'm not clear on this. So just do what you're comfortable with. Begin to write this out. So step 1 to 4 shouldn't take longer than 10 minutes. And then we will, once you've done step 1 to 4, in those 10 minutes, you should, by the end of the 10 minutes, also choose 10 of the post-it, 10 of the values to be in your Jamboard, and then we'll come back into the main session. Sure. So someone's asking, but cannot see the post-it notes. The post-it notes are not there because you need to add them. So if you go back onto the first page instructions, once you go into your post-it notes, so let's say I go to I think Rabia is just going to be, so it's an alphabetical order, by the way, so then it's easy to find your name. So I can see that maybe you started writing something, but what we want you to do is do the sticky note, which is this just under the mouse, the pointer. There's a sticky note, and you can write whatever you want, save, and that would be, let's say, your first value and your second value. Is pretty, if you're stuck, there'll be an instructor in your Hajiri is saying the Jamboard does not work. What happens when you click the link? Okay, I'll sort that out. So let me just put you in the groups first. So I'm assuming everyone is clear. So we're just going to go into our breakout rooms. Okay, so
Tasif, you have to put me twice because I'm 2 times here. Okay, in the same room.
Perfect,
Yeah.
All right. So okay, so I have 5. So I'm going to start the breakout rooms in 2 seconds. I think there's a couple of questions. Okay, and then I'm going to do one more room. All right, so I think there's one quick question, which is to write on the Jamboard, we need to edit access, but I believe we should be using post-it notes anyhow. That is correct. So if you're with your email that you signed up with, you will have editor rights. I've just set it up beforehand. If you're using a different email, let me know and we can sort that out. But Brother Maria, that's right. So I'm going to open the rooms. So we'll see you in the rooms. So you get an invitation to join the room. It's the session. Right. So you've now completed your values activity and you've identified your top 3 values. And as a heart work, we're asking you to go back to page 7 in the workbook activity and to reflect on how you're currently showing up in your life, in your work, and where do these values manifest in your life. So the main takeaways from this section were to understand the importance of personal values as a driver for human existence and performance, identifying your top 3 values so we can tick that off. That was the main takeaway from today, was identifying your values, which you have done. And then acknowledging the gap that sometimes you might have an ideal self that cares about family, that cares about, let's say, another value that is close to you, but right now you don't have the opportunity because of stress, because of work, because of other things, to really focus on that value and to manifest that in your life. So the next section is introducing a little bit more hard work for you, which will help us in our second module and second session next week. And the main question we're trying to kind of pose is, why do you work? Why do you work? Why do you, tomorrow morning, some of you, or later this afternoon, if you're for example, in America, you'd be signing out from your work. Maybe you have a business, maybe you're looking to get back into work, but why do you want to do that? And there's a famous kind of saying that, do we work to live or do we live to work? And on average in our society, particularly in Western developed nations, we can see that people are living to work, that work and earning a living has become the main preoccupation. And that's why there's a very strong movement now of leave the 9 to 5 and, you know, get financial freedom and all these things, because it's a reaction to people giving up their lives for companies, for work, for earning an income, and not really having time for other things in their life. And this is something we're passionate about, that how do we create balance for you, whether you are, you know, a freelancer or whether you're a worker or a business owner, how do you work to live? And one of the tools we have available is something called the career anchors, which I'll introduce now. And the career anchors are a combination of what we've just been talking about in terms of your values, what you perceive your competence is, so how good you are at something, and your motives. It's a very powerful tool. And there are many, many tools out there, but we chose this one in particular because it answers that question of what motivates you to actually work, to seek an income, whether that's through a business, whether that's through a career in a corporate, private, whatever, freelance, 0 hours, whatever it is. Why do you work? And if you identify your career anchors and priorities, you can deploy your life and your plan in the right direction. Just today, I was speaking to someone who just started a course where they can learn practical elements. So I just realized that I wasn't sharing my screen, so apologies for that. But essentially, if I just go back, so we have this work to live or live to work. And then I just explaining the career anchors. So just today I was speaking to someone who was mentioning to me that, oh, I've started this course, and at the end of this, if I complete this course, I will be qualified and then I can earn a living. But I've just been offered an agency role that pays me this much money, but I have to quit this job. And they kept going back and forth. Oh, should I study or should I get the job? Should I study, should I get the job? And this is the manifestation of someone who's confused about their values, about the direction they want to go into. And that's why they're creating this kind of anxiety within themselves, and opportunities are coming, they're not sure what to make of it, and it's really stressing them out. So I just asked him a simple question, which is, okay, if you leave your studies and you go for this job, where will you be in 3 years time, in 4 years time, in 2 years time, in 1 year time? And he didn't have an answer because it was just a short-term thinking. So really what we want to encourage you to do is to really think deeply about what motivates you to earn a living. And this career anchors, which we're going to introduce now, it was developed by a professor from Stanford University, and also from currently at MIT in the US. Dr. Sheen's career anchors has been tested for nearly 40, 50 years. So this is a very sound test and assessment, and is used by major companies in the world. So again, I did it when I was at Shell, and it was very, very helpful. And I'll share more about that next week. And I think this is a method that was developed to help people realize, why do I work? What motivates me to work? And as mentioned, that the career anchors represent your unique combination of perceived career competence, motives, and values. Now, there are 8 anchors. You don't need to know these by heart or really understand them right now. And if I switch to the workbook, which hopefully you can see in the screen, we've actually copied and pasted the descriptions. So what does technical and functional competence mean? So on and so forth. But all you need to worry about is knowing that we are going to be using this. And I'm going to briefly introduce this 8. And then we'd like you to do the test between now and next week. It's a free test. You can do it online, and it'll tell you what your top career anchors are. And that feeds into your coaching discussion in the 3rd module. So then when you're speaking to the coach, the instructor, they have an idea and a sense for why you're motivated to work. And just to give you a little bit of a flavor of the kind of the career anchors. So some people work because they want to develop some technical or functional competence. So let's say if you want to become an academic that knows all about the history of Africa, and a historian, an accountant, and so on and so forth. So that's what motivates them. That, okay, I want to become very technical and really understand this, engineering, and solve kind of these types of problems. Some people want to develop and are motivated by becoming leaders and managing other people. Like Abdul Basit mentioned, he has 150 people reporting to him. Now, that's not everyone's cup of tea. Some people like myself can barely manage themselves. So imagine managing, another 20, 100 people. But some people are motivated by that. That's what gets them up in the morning. Other people, they just love the independence. So there are people that they don't want to be working with other people, and their personality suits them, maybe like a scientist or a truck driver or a freelance graphic designer. They love that independence. Some people only work because they want security and stability, meaning financial stability, and also that they know that, okay, if I turn up, this is what they're going to tell me to do. I don't want like each day is different. I want this to do the same thing every day, and that's what I prefer. And some people just want to be creative in developing new solutions, new ideas, new things every day. So this is what motivates them. That this is what gets me out of bed in the morning. I want to solve a new creative idea, a new creative problem. Other people, like let's say nurses and doctors and teachers, they are motivated by service and dedication, maybe charity workers or otherwise. So this is what motivates them and drives them. Other people just want pure challenge. Like they want to find a problem, like a strong mathematical, let's say, equation, and solve that, and then go to the next one and the next one and the next one. And the last and the 8th is lifestyle. There's some people work so that they can have the holidays and they can have a certain type of lifestyle. So the idea is that no one has all of these in balance. You will always have a top 2 or 3, or you might even have just a top 1 and a second. So we want to identify what is your top 2 or 3, because then that helps you find direction in your life. Okay, for example, if my driver is pure challenge, then why would I apply for a job that doesn't offer me that? If the driver is managerial competence, then why would I apply or go for a job that doesn't allow me to be a manager and develop people? And if I can't be a manager in my current job, then where else can I have experience of developing, leading others? Maybe in your local charity or somewhere else outside of your job, you can do that. So these are different applications for it. And I think, again, this is something you're going to do in your workbook, is to note down before you do the test, what do you think right now your top career anchors are? So if I just pause there, any questions on career anchors? And if it's all clear, just give me a thumbs up. So one person is clear. Fantastic, Atik, thank you. Tassin is clear. Harun again is clear, mashallah. You know, when the instructor is clear, then you know, okay, you've done something right. Okay, Harun, thank you for confirming it's clear. Hanis is clear, fantastic. All right, so I think more or less at least half of you are clear. And those who are unclear, please message me, email me, you know, and let us know if there's anything that I haven't covered fully. So now, just to summarize, your career anchor represents a unique combination of your perceived career competence, motives, and values. Your level of fulfillment at work can be correlated to the extent your job matches your career anchor. So for example, as I mentioned, if you're someone who values independence, but you're in a job where your boss has to control every single aspect of your work and checking it again and again, you're never going to be happy. And this is different to passion and emotive. Like, let's say this is why we're tackling it from this angle, that we're not saying, oh, you have to find your passion and then you'll be happy. What we're saying is there are innate motivations for why you want to work. And if you can match those to a role, whether it's paid, unpaid, whatever, then you are more likely to be successful and motivated and driven. So this is the point. And Sheen's career anchor assessment is a good option to help you identify your career anchors. It's not the only option. There are many others, as I mentioned, but this is one which is sound in terms of its methodology, but also easily accessible for everyone. So for next week, as you can see, we uncover some of your values, and we're going to go a bit higher up into your motivations, using Sheen's career anchor assessment. And then we're also going to ask you to find some of your superpowers using something called the high 5 test, which is used by, again, many leading companies like Airbnb, Apple, Disney, Google, and so on and so forth. They use that internally to help them improve the employees, improve the performance of the employees by understanding their own strengths. So there are many benefits of this test. So even, for example, Amazon and others use it to help them to help the employees, but we're using it to help you identify your strengths. So what are your strengths? So when you come into the session next week, you will have a completed workbook, which has your values, which has your high 5 test strengths. Apologies for the spelling there, but here's the link. You would click the link and carry out the free test. We're not asking you to pay for anything. This is a free test. You can use your email to log in and come back and check the results, and just note down the strengths which are identified into the workbook. And similarly for the Sheen Career Anchor Assessment, it's a free test. You can go on this particular link, fill in. It takes like 5 minutes maximum, but obviously the more you think it through, the better results you will get. So there are 40 questions. You answer them, you rate them, and then it kind of tells you roughly what your top career anchors are. So some of you might have 3, some of you might have 2, some of you might have more. So just make a note of the results. And then when we meet next week, we're going to unpack some of the answers and discuss what that means for you. So you have quite a bit of hard work. So one is around your values, again, thinking about how you show up. Number 2 is to do this Sheen Career Anchor Assessment. And number 3 is the high 5 strength assessment. And everything is in your workbook. So if you are unclear, you can go through the workbook or message us and just ask for any help and advice. So can I again pause and see if are there any questions, anything that is unclear? silence. Maybe. Okay. Sister Arby says clear, all clear. Fantastic. All right. Got a thumbs up from Ali, which is good. All clear. Thank you, Samira. Okay, fantastic. So again, looking forward to next week. We're going to go a lot deeper into your strength. So next week is going to be focused around helping you find confidence in your strengths. So this week we've submerged and dived deep into the sea to find your drivers, your values, and then we're going to refine that understanding and apply it to your career through the career anchors. And then next week, we're going to find your superpowers. And then in the third week, there's going to be a specific coaching sessions to help you apply and manifest and unleash those superpowers so that you can benefit in your personal and your career as well. So I think this is the end of today. You also have a link to the Google Classrooms, and I will post a video and email you a video on how to use that. But very briefly, it's just where all of our documents are stored. So then you can go back if you don't have them. But if you've attended this session, you have access to the workbook already. And if you have any questions, you can email us and just let us know what we can help with, inshallah. Can I ask any of the instructors if they want to add or say anything before we end the session? So the next one is next Monday, and we are going to start at 7. We just started a bit later today. That's why we're finishing 10-15 minutes later as well. So we start at 7 and finish at 8:30 next week, God willing. Yeah. Anything to add from anyone? Harun, is it all clear?
All clear. All clear. It's
All
been a
clear.
really clear, structured session. Thank you.
Clear session, yeah.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
it's been great.
All right.
Very good. Very good. Thank you.
Fantastic. So yeah, just to bring it back. So these sessions are all about unleashing your superpowers. It's all about you and going deep into your own self. And we look forward to helping you in this journey. And hopefully by the end of the 3 weeks, you have a very clear development plan with lots of insights and energy to move you forward in your life and in your career. So we end there. And as mentioned, we have recorded parts of today, but our intention is not to share that with the students just yet. But if you've missed anything or something's not clear, please email us and we'll try and arrange something to help you. I can answer that. I think there's a couple of questions that come in. So if there's any questions, actually, let me give the opportunity. Please ask any question on anything that we covered today. So there is a question they're asking whether I have a brother who's involved in Murabbi. Actually, I was also involved in Murabbi as more of a HR consultant. So my brother was also involved in Murabbi. So someone's saying thank you and thanks to all the teachers. Thank you very much. That's it. Any more questions? Please do email us. Otherwise, I think we can end here. Right. Thank you all. Have a great evening. So useful already. Fantastic. Thank you.